All right. Well, everybody's been doing these book videos lately in front of kind of a bookcase. I kind of got a bookcase behind me here, but I thought I would make a video. I've been reading a lot of books for the past couple of years. I've been a reader for a long time. My mom kind of got me started reading Stephen King way back when, so I've read about every Stephen King book there is. But over the past couple of years, after kind of a break of not doing much reading other than the new Stephen King book that came out, my wife convinced me to get started. So last year, she got me a Blake Crouch book for Christmas. So right over here, it's Upgrade, which is a pretty interesting one about DNA and all that kind of stuff. It was cool. So I read about 20 books last year, and my goal is to read 24 this year, 2 per month, which is a lot for me. So anyway, I thought I'd do is just kind of go over some of the books I've read in 2026, talk about a few of them, and we'll see if I make any more videos. This might be the only one. Maybe I'll do more. Who knows? But so anyway, here goes. The first book I read this year was A Recursion by Blake Crouch, another star. So I started 2025 with the Blake Crouch book and started 2026 with the Blake Crouch book. This one's a little different, talking about alternate realities and police officer and another lady work together, trying to figure out what's going on. And very interesting. Blake Crouch, very scientific, if you've read any of his books. And I kind of like that kind of thing. So anyway, really good one here to start with. So I enjoyed that one. Next book I read was my first Darcy Coates, Dead of Winter. A really good book about a group of people that are on a tour, going to go to this big place in the mountains, and turns out that they don't make it there, and a lot of things happen to them on this house. A lot of outdoorsy type things going on here in the cold, and being kind of chased around by the bad guy here. And so a really good book, and kind of got me started with Darcy Coates, and I read a few more of hers already, so I really like Darcy, and this was my first foray into her book, so I thought it was really good. The next one, put an image of it here. I don't have the book. I read it on my Kindle, but it's Sanguine Summer by Abe Moss. So a really interesting book about a female vampire that kind of terrorizes this town. And so if you like vampire books, of course, being a Stephen King fan, you know, really like that kind of thing. And so I thought that was a really good book. From the vampire series, I believe that was my first Abe Moss book. Anyway, so that was a good one. I followed that one up with another vampire book, so I did 2 vampire books in a row. Coffin Moon is this one here by Keith Rawson. This is one that I had on my Goodreads for quite a long time before it even was released. I was looking forward to this one. Finally found it in Barnes & Noble. So another vampire-esque type book. This one's a little different. An individual that works in a bar, previous military experience, and he ends up working through some vampire things going on here. So again, if you like the vampire genre, I thought these 2 books were really excellent. If I had to pick one I liked better, boy, they're tough. They were really, really close. So I guess I can't pick between them, but 2 really good vampire type books there. The next one I read was another Darcy Coates. I really got into her. I really, really enjoyed this one, Hunted by Darcy Coates, about a girl that disappears in the forest, a very big forest area, park area, and her friends come out and try to figure out what's going on, including the local police there at the park. And so really interesting what goes on here. But this is really a great thriller book that I would recommend you read if you like Darcy Coates or like that kind of thing. So Hunted was really good. The next one was another Blake Crouch book, so Dark Matter. This is one that I had watched on Apple TV, of course, before I read the book. Really good series, and the book was very true to that as well. So enjoyed this one. Again, time travel is really kind of what's going on with this one. Maybe not so much time travel, but different travel, I guess, to different places that are going on at the same time, if that makes sense. So if you've seen the series, you know what's going on with this story, but the book was very good to read as well. So and really enjoyed that one. The next one, I have to say I do have the book. This is obviously Joe Hill, Stephen King's son. I did not actually read this very large book. My daughter bought it for me for Christmas, and so it is on my shelf. It makes a nice little shelf piece there, but I read it on my Kindle because this is a very large, heavy book. I'll be putting it down here because it's very heavy. But dragon type book, and so really started very slow. It took a while for me to get into it, but it really had a very good finish on it as well. So good story. And so that was the one I'd read there. I've read some other Joe Hill books. I read Nosferatu last year, which I really enjoyed. And then watched the series with Zachary Quinto, which I thought was very good. So enjoyed that. Next one was Artemis by Andy Weir. I have not read The Martian. I have read, obviously, his big book. Really, really enjoyed. This was okay. It wasn't my favorite as far as, I guess, compared to the other ones that I've had. But it was a good story. It takes place on the moon. Again, if you like Andy Weir, this is a good kind of scientific, kind of spacey book, if you like that kind of thing. The next one, again, is one I read on my Kindle, Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. Really enjoyed this one. This is about a lady. Her dad is a very famous author, getting up in age, and he requests her to ghostwrite a book for him, basically kind of his story, and it goes back into the history of what happened with this author and his family back when he was younger. And so really, really good story. Really good build up for the finish of that book. So I thought that was a really, really good one there. Enjoyed that. The next one I read was a recommendation from one of my wife's friends. So this is Baby Teeth by Zoe Stage, I believe is how you pronounce that. So again, this took a little bit of getting used to for me. It's not the typical kind of book I read. But I really did like it. It's about a young girl who really doesn't like her mother very well, and kind of tries to play her dad against her mother. And so some really interesting things this girl tries to do to her mother. And the mother has some medical history issues and things like that. So trying to fight that and trying to do good for the daughter is really interesting. So really kind of a frightening book, I guess, from can a child really do that kind of thing or think that way? I guess there is a sequel to this. I heard at least this person that recommended this one told me they didn't like the sequel. But anyway, it was an interesting book, and I'm glad I read it. The next one, of course, is another one I read on my Kindle. It's The Remedy by Shade Owens. I think I had found this one at Barnes & Noble, actually, and saw it, so I put it on my Goodreads and found it on Kindle Unlimited. So I read that one about a group of people that go to this compound, I guess you could say, where there's a promise of healing things like physical and psychological issues. And so that's what this is about, and things don't go as planned at that particular place. So I thought that was a good one. The next one I read is We Had a Hunch by Tom Ryan. I happened to grab this one again at Barnes & Noble, happened to see it. When I read through the insert here, I thought it was going to be a little bit more like Nancy Drew-ish kind of teen type book, but it actually wasn't. It was actually a really good read, a mystery about a couple of girls who, when they were younger, helped their father, who was a police officer, solve some mysteries, and didn't go well back then. Something bad happened, and so therefore it kind of goes in the future a little bit, and they have to kind of face some of those past things and figure out what's going on. So really did enjoy this one. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Again, I picked it up, I read it, I thought it looked interesting, so I went ahead and grabbed it, and I'm glad I did because it was actually pretty good. Book number, it'd be 13 I read this year is All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Crosby. This is my first S.A. Crosby I read. I've heard a lot of hype from this, and this is a tremendous story. Really good story about a African American sheriff in Virginia, and working through all of the racial type things going on there, and some bad things happening they're having to deal with. And so really, really good book. I'm interested in reading some more of S.A. Crosby's books as well, because I'm really looking forward to that. And then the last one, I just finished it last night. One my wife picked up for me is The Drop by S.A. Masters. And so this one, as you can tell, there's a roller coaster there. It's about a group of folks that go to, they were all friends in college in England. They go over to the Middle East to a roller coaster or to a park that's being built. One of their friends is part of this, and they kind of get stuck on the roller coaster. So you'll figure out what it is. But I really like the backstories here. The backstories, this kind of goes to present day and then goes back and explains why things are happening the way they're happening. And so I thought this was a really interesting book I just finished reading here not too long ago. So those are the books I've read so far. 14, obviously 7 months and 14, so I've got my 2 per month, and really looking forward to reading more. So if you have any other books that you like or kind of the same ones that I've got here, please send me a note or a comment. I'll be interested in hearing what you think about these books, or if you have any others that are similar to these that you think I should read going forward. So that's it.